Hello, welcome, or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. Clearly, we're doing something a little bit different. This has been something that's been working its way through me for the last couple months, and I feel like I kind of finally have the energy to put it out there. Forgive me if you can hear me breathing kind of hard. I'm nervous. That's also been part of the process, getting over the fear, because new shit, right? Scary. And I don't really think that there's anything else kind of out there like this, which is the heretic in me. So before I kind of get ahead of myself, clearly we are talking about human design. Maybe that wasn't clear, but okay. We're talking about human design. And specifically for the purpose of these readings, we are going to be talking about your human design profile. Now, this may be the first time that you're hearing about human design, maybe not. I mean, you can be kind of diving into it too. I have been doing a deep dive into it. And what made me take that dive is my profile. I'm a 5/1, which is a heretic investigator, which is also where part of my name comes from, the name of this channel and the name of my business. So, reading about my profile, I mean, literal tears were were coming out of my eyes, because it was the first time and probably ever in my life that I had actually felt seen and understood, and I didn't feel inherently flawed, and I didn't feel crazy, for having the experiences that I had had. So from there, and with the 5/1 profile, it is very hard to be seen. So again, just feeling that recognition, hell yeah. I was like, give me everything. I need to know absolutely everything. And I don't, I'm not an authority on this. I'm not claiming to be, I am claiming to be a heretic and bringing more information. I do still have an intention of doing the Zodiac sign readings, but this is just a different way for you to get information regarding your situation. And that's what my intention is, because also the one line in my profile loves investigation and just kind of having that information. That's not everybody, of course, but like I said, it's something different outside of your sun, moon, and rising sign. So, the readings are going to be the same. I mean, we'll get to, of course, the good stuff, but I just kind of want to set my intentions here and what you can expect. Really, the only thing that's changing is, like I said, we're not going to go by Zodiac. We're going to go by human design profile. At the beginning of each profile reading, I do have an intention of reading some new information. Like clearly, like I have the definitive book of human design here, which comes from the School of Human Design, which I did not attend, but I bought the book. And I think it's, of course, just starting at the source, right? Or not. Okay. And then, I have a few other books. There's a few other blogs, and things. So, I do intend to just kind of give a bit more information on each profile every time I put these readings out. And then from there, we're just going to go into like the regular tarot reading. So that part is going to stay the same. Now, if you know your profile, you can just skip ahead because you would be here because this is your profile. But if you don't know your profile yet, I'll link the website below. I use Joven Archive because, again, you know, it's kind of coming from the original. There are plenty of options when it comes to getting your human design. So, I mean, you can just Google human design chart and pick one. Of course, I mean, pick one that's free. I think for the most part they are, most of them, all of them. So you'll need the same information you need for your natal chart. So you'll need your birth date, the time, and location. Now with human design, the time does need to be as accurate as you can get it, because there are certain things that can change based on the time. So again, you would want to try to get that as accurate as you can. If you don't know the exact time, maybe you know that you were born sometime in the morning, maybe you know that you were born sometime in the afternoon or evening or overnight. You know, I mean, you can kind of use a general time that correlates to the time of day. Like morning, you can use 6 or 8 o'clock, afternoon, noon or 2 o'clock, evening, 6 or 8 o'clock, overnight, you know, I don't know, 1 or 3 o'clock. And if you don't really know that, like I have a friend who has no clue, like the time isn't even on her birth certificate, but she has always had this feeling that she was born in the morning and has just kind of rolled with that. So, you know, but you'll put in your information and you'll see your body graph. This one is mine. Aw. Now, your body graph is going to be unique to you. I don't think that it's impossible, but I think it's incredibly rare for somebody else to have your same exact design. There might be similarities, but as far as it being exact, that's pretty rare. Like my cousin and I have the same centers defined, which means that those centers are colored in. And we have some of the same channels and gates, which are those red or black areas between the centers, but it's not exactly the same. But there's a lot of similarities between us, but of course there's a lot of differences. So you'll see on the right or the left side, there's those numbers in red, that's the design side. And on the left, there's the numbers in black, which is your personality. And those numbers are the correlating gates, which again are the red and black lines between the centers. And the centers are those areas that are either colored in, there's 9 of them. They're either colored in or defined, or they are white or undefined. You can have all of them colored in, you could have none of them colored in, and you can have any combination of that in between. So it depending on how your screen looks, you might have to scroll down a little bit, or it might be to the right, but you'll see that there's listed a type, which would be either a manifestor, a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, or a reflector. You'll see definition, you'll see strategy, you'll see your profile, your inner authority, your not self theme, and your incarnation cross. Now, we are focusing on your profile. Some would say, and I would of course agree with them, that one of the more important aspects of human design is understanding your type, your strategy, and authority, because that is how it is best for you to operate in the world or navigate life in the best way suited for your personal design. So, I mean, you can just Google or jump on YouTube and type in manifestor type, or just manifestor human design, you know, whatever your type is, manifesting generator, you know, whatever your type is, just type that information. I mean, there's so much good information. Of course, you can buy books if that's what you're into. However, I will leave that more to you for the time being. And like I said, we are going to focus on your profile. And before we get into the readings, and actually before I even skip too far ahead, there are 12 profiles. And those are 1-3, which is the investigator martyr, 1-4, which is investigator opportunist, 2-4, the hermit opportunist, 2-5, hermit heretic, 3-5, martyr heretic, 3-6, martyr role model, 4-6, opportunist role model, 4-1, opportunist investigator, 5-1, heretic investigator, 5-2, heretic hermit, 6-2, role model hermit, and 6-3, role model martyr. So again, you'll find that there once you pull up your chart. And if you are new to human design, I just, because some people are like, what the hell? What is that? And again, I think that, I could talk for hours about what it is. And maybe someday I will. But for now, I just wanted to give this little snippet out of the definitive book of human design. It says the human design system is not a belief system. It does not require that you believe in anything. It is neither stories nor philosophy. It is a concrete map to the nature of being, a mapping of your genetic code. This ability to be able to detail the mechanics of our nature in such depth is obviously profound because it reveals our complete nature in all its subtleties. Excuse me. Human design opens a door to the potential of self-love, a love of life, and the love of others through understanding. Ra'uruhu. And that's the guy that channeled human design back in 1980 something. So that's just a little snippet about human design. And we're going to get on to the actual reading. Well, hello. 1-3, the investigator martyr. I will say that I have a lot of good friends that are 1-3 profiles, and you guys can definitely be trusted for knowing your shit. So, I mean, you might just kind of be like that person. Sorry about that. I had to cough. You might just be like that type of person that everybody kind of comes to for information or advice. That's not obviously, like, of course, specific to this profile, but like, I mean, you might just know a lot, or at least be an expert in like a certain field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the background. And this, again, is from the definitive book of human design, the science of differentiation, this word? Differentiation. Okay. Clearly not a word I can pronounce. We have the hexagram up here. So the first line and the third line. The first line is on your personality side, which is on the right. And the third line is on your design side, which is the left, or the red. So I know that that's confusing because it's backwards. So like I said, I'm not going to read everything in here because I know like the intro was already 13 minutes and I don't want to keep you here all night. But like I said, I am just going to read this background really quick and then we will proceed to the reading. So it says the geometry of the personal destiny trigram begins with the 1-3 profile, the first of the 12 roles, and the personification and foundation of our human experience. The 1-3 is unique in that it is the only profile with both lines in the lower trigram. At this foundational level, the first line represents the conscious personality, the mind, and how we think. The third line represents the unconscious design, the body, or our physical experience in the mundane world. We are a species that is driven by fear for our survival, to investigate until we understand or find security through a solid foundation. This is not always possible in the ever-changing world that we live in, but the search for the security drives and mutates our species forward. Mutation is the continual process of finding out what does not work so that we can survive. The 1-3 sets the theme for the ongoing human journey of bumping into, investigating, the ongoing human journey of bumping into, investigating what we bump into, and resolving and understanding the unknown. Investigator martyrs, very insecure when not standing on a solid foundation, are driven to seek authorities that can provide them with secure grounding for their trial and error process. Their self-absorbed investigator personalities are very creative and are healthiest and most productive when well prepared and well educated. They enjoy their long hours of introspection and find strength in eventually establishing themselves as an authority so that their personal destiny remains in their own hands. Their martyr vehicles or bodies are designed to discover how to navigate the material plane by bumping into things or being bumped into, literally and figuratively. Adaptable and resilient, they are able to pick themselves up and announce to the world the truth of what does not work. So, did that make sense? Basically, I think what it comes down to is you want to have a security or a secure foundation in information. Like you want to investigate a thing so that you know what you're coming up against. But the way that you actually learn about those things is by trying them. And that's where the martyr part comes in, because you do try, or maybe you have tried a lot of different things, and you have discovered what doesn't work, but also you have discovered what has worked. So that's, like you're investigating and trying things. And that's why I was saying, like there may be people that just kind of gravitate towards you, or maybe even like the circle of people around you that come to you for information because they know that you have tried things and you know what doesn't work. You know what does work. I didn't really plan on, okay, clearly, I think we'll just kind of keep this a little bit on the short and sweet side here. So what is the message for our investigator martyrs? I'm not going to take the ones that fall because I'm just going to shuffle and then I'm going to split the deck and we'll just take the cards off the top. So that could also be, like if you just kind of have this innate kind of need to understand things, But then, like, you don't want to rest based on knowledge alone. You want to go out and actually try the thing. That would be why, or that would explain the profile. We have Death, the Lovers, Harvest of Stones, the Two of Thunder, Ace of Thunder, Root of Thunder. Very cool. And then the Nine of Stones at the bottom of the deck. So, you know, it's interesting because there's this feeling of transformation here. And in more ways than one, like, I mean, we have Death, which talks about, I mean, literal, you know, the transformation from life to a new life, because death doesn't like represent just the end of something. It represents rebirth. Like something has to kind of come to an end so that something else can be brought into existence. And I think that it's interesting that there's, you know, well, this hermit crab, I think that's what a hermit crab. Yeah, I mean, he's moving on to this larger shell, right? Because he's outgrown it. And we have the Two of Thunder or the Two of Swords underneath that. And this to me is saying that there may be some sort of resistance to that. Because the Two of Swords is very indecisive, but like you don't really know which way to go. And just the body language here, right? Just kind of like really kind of wrapped in on yourself. This also kind of feels like it's underwater. Yeah, there's a seal there. I don't know if you can kind of see this. There's a little drawing of a seal. So, yeah, I mean, I know this isn't the Hermit card, of course, but I mean, you could be kind of hiding out. This might even be, you know, with thunder having to do, or swords having to do with our thoughts. You could just be not entertaining anything about it, like really just kind of shut it down. And again, you know, I mean, this can be anything. This could be relationships. This could be work. It could be, you know, if you've been doing a lot of internal stuff, it could be that, you know, there's kind of an old identity that could be shedding. And that's not easy. That is not easy to do. So, you know, that could be any of those things are not easy to do. So that could be why there's this, you know, there may even be a fear of not knowing what's next, like what's going to happen once this is gone. What does the rebirth almost talk about? And there's almost this posture about being in the womb, just the way that this figure is, you know, in the fetal position, literally. And then we have the Lovers here with the butterflies. So again, you know, like this idea of transformation. This could even have to do, you know, I mean, with more than one person. It can, of course, just be you. It can be, you know, people around you. And I'm only saying that, you know, because we have this kind of representation of two. We have the two butterflies here. This could also be like this growth that's happening here, you know, by like upgrading your shell. it could open opportunities for you to meet people that are more in alignment with you. This is also very representative of that trial and error process that is the 1-3 profile. Like it was saying, like, the constant bumping up against stuff and how important that is for your growth and for you to help other people grow. Because one thing that I didn't really mention about human design is that it is collective. It's not individual, like we are very much impacted by the people around us and that we come in contact with. So and then, like I said, we have the Lovers here, and the Lovers, gosh, there's so many different meanings. It can talk about choices and decisions and, just kind of the duality that goes along with the pros and cons, right? It talks about the yin and yang, the masculine, feminine energy, and how those intertwine and balance and become imbalance, and, just the dance that they do. It can, of course, talk about union, but it would be coming into union with, somebody or people or groups that are in balance with you, or that you guys would balance each other out. And, butterflies always have this representation of transformation, which is, of course, like beautiful coming from these first two cards going into the Lovers, because, there's clearly some sort of ending going on here. But it's also this ending that has this intention for transforming either you or your relationship or your business. And then we have the Ace of Thunder here, which is the Ace of Swords. So this is, like being inspired and having this new perspective. There's this kind of level of surrender even that kind of goes along here with this. And I also love how the rainbow shows up here. Because, rainbows aren't possible without a storm, right? Like, so if thunder and lightning are present, there's more than likely going to be a rainbow visible at some point. Maybe not every time, but I love how, there's this transitionary, kind of thing going on here where now this rainbow shows up. And then it shows up on these last two cards also, which aren't even in the same suit. And I also think that it's interesting that all of these cards down here are swords, having to do with our thoughts, right? Very much about investigation. And the root of thunder would be, I would say, like the martyr part that goes out and does, because the root of thunder is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is going to just move forward. It's very kind of, like fast moving, like maybe not thinking about it too much. They're just going to go do. And that's how they learn. That's how they grow. That's where they gain their knowledge, right? But then we have the Harvest of Stones up here, which is the King of Pentacles. So there's this potential to, you know, the King of Pentacles. Kings are the highest expression of the suit, right? Pentacles have to do with our money, our time, abundance. It also has to do with our health. And there's also two figures here, which is also interesting. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. There's been two figures, or two, like, you know, two things represented on all of the top cards, and all of the bottom cards have been thunder cards. But, you know, the King of Pentacles is successful. There's this leadership quality, or even a potential to be a breadwinner, if that's what you want. Whether that's for a family, whether that's for business, whether, you know, I mean, but there is this potential to be an authority, which again is very much the 1-3 profile, because you are the authority on it. Like, you research the things, you develop the knowledge, right? And then you go out and you try the things so that you can be an authority and you can lead people on those things that you bumped up against, or that bumped up against you. So it is a lot about, you know, like experience, going out and experiencing things. And then the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here talks about individual success. Like, this is you being very satisfied with what you're doing. Like, you have enough for yourself. Like, you have financial independence. This is you feeling very good about what you are grounded in. I think this is so effing cool how this has come out. And it's even like, you know, because in this card, the rainbow is kind of upside down, and it's almost like, you know, it flips, it flips right side up. And these other two cards, so there is something that is shifting here for you. And maybe it's not comfortable. And that's temporary, because behind that, you know, kind of through the storm that you're going through, there is this great potential behind it. And that could be, you know, the trial and error part can be uncomfortable. Because, you know, like, you're trying shit, maybe it's not working, you have to try new shit, and maybe that's not working, you know. But all of that is leading you to what does work, what is going to work for you, but also so you can share those things with other people if you want to, of course. I mean, you know, you don't have to tell anybody anything if they ask you, you know what I mean? But that would also be where your strategy and authority comes into play. If, of course, you want to investigate that further. Of course, that is not necessary for this reading to be true, but I did just want to throw that out there. And if you have made it this far, thank you so much. I would love if you subscribe to the channel. And I can't wait to see how these even grow and evolve. Thank you. Bye.